Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Before and After Thoughts with your share, as always, Queen Crazy K. Be sure to hit that follow, that like, that share, the subscribe button, both Instagram and both YouTube. You already know what it is. We had Monday Night Raw pass in, we had SmackDown pass in NXT, Rey Mysterio legend going to NXT, Jey Uso, who puts a real big impact, who have put a bit of impact on SmackDown, quitting WWE now, and Monday Night Raw looking like it might be the number one red show because of that. And we've had a lot of things happen, a lot of things going on. We had SummerSlam passing. Now we're already at the end of the year. Already this Friday, tickets going on sale for WrestleMania tickets in Philadelphia. And I think the next pay per view, the Red versus the Blue Brand Survivor Series with commentary trading places. Now we got Corey and Kevin on SmackDown and J. Cole and Wade Barrett on Raw. It looks like J. Cole is doing both Raw and SmackDown on double duty, kind of like Corey was doing before, and now it's J. Cole doing it. What better than one of the best commentaries in WWE history, who was there back then and who is still there now, like J. Cole, who's great at the mic, and no wonder why you're doing Raw and SmackDown for the commentary, because he is an impactor, he is an advisor, and he's a pro for a reason. And he's been there, talk about the then, now, forever, and together, and he's still here today to be able to do the commentary, to be able to talk about what happened in the past versus what happens now, and what brings a very good point and what's going on at the moment. And we had commentaries come and go. We've had good ones, bad ones, ones that annoy us, ones that we wish wasn't there, and now someone like J. Cole, who's still there now today, that was there before, that really puts an impact on the commentary team, on the mics, on for the people at home who's listening and is paying attention to that. People like me, who I like to do my podcast from inspirations from people like J. Cole. Like back then, we didn't like J. Cole. He's an asshat, but now that he's matured, got older, got over all the silly stuff, everybody has that moment and has that thing going on, obviously. It's enjoyable listening to him. He makes very good, valuable points. He's not afraid to, let the wrestlers know how he feels, and particularly that if you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. And he will call you out on it. He will tell you it, no matter how much they try to get in his face or dislike him or, gonna beat him up or whatever. He's not afraid to tell you how like it is or how he feels. Not in particularly, like personal feelings, but also not hiding behind a bush of the fact of the matter of what you're being, what you're doing, and what's happening, whether you like it or not. So, with that being said, being, a bold move to that wrestler saying, hey, you cheated. I'm not going to sit here and act like I didn't just see what just happened. If I was a referee, I would have restarted the match and called you out on it. If you cheated, you cheated, So, that's really cool to have someone like that on the commentary, letting people know at home the facts, so even though you just watched it, that. But it's good to someone that, as Roman Reigns would say, acknowledge it. So with that being said, going on, I was gonna do two different podcasts into two different episodes, as they are at least a half an hour long when I do one podcast and one episode, as you know, but sometimes it gets over, which that's okay as long as it's over and not under. We're good, we're on the same page. That's great. Uh, but since it's already now Sunday and now tomorrow Monday Night Raw wrestling is going on, and I don't really have time before Monday Night Raw gets on tomorrow to do another podcast. So I'm just going to combine into one, but it is two different episodes combining into one video for this video right here. A double knockout, as I would call it, as we like to say, as you guys like to watch and enjoy. You get more information into a video instead of having to go one by one. So, with that being said, we're going to get right onto it. There's a lot of things to discuss, a lot of things to talk about, like I was just talking about with the whole, leaving WWE. Now you got a new brand and all that stuff. But with that being said, we're gonna go in order so you kind of get to see what's happening and what's going on as far as that goes. You know, talk about real. Before we get into the video, before we get into the podcast episode, I would like to talk about life right now, what I've been doing, what's been going on, and that's why I'm doing a double podcast rather than a separate podcast. Last time I was talking about my last podcast that I've been taking my niece and nephews, been able to go with my niece and nephews to, after into this church program that I got to do as a kid with church camping. I was talking about it on my last podcast. I was talking about my favorite singer, Ariana Grande, who's a queen. That she deserves to have her personal life without other people getting involved into it and make her decision without other people trying to put her down when she did nothing wrong. And I would like to touch base on that as far as that goes. She was separated and now officially getting a divorce. She did nothing wrong by moving on. And now she's got a Cloud Pink perfume that's out. She's got a new profile, looking great as always. She's got her backup songs like Tap Too Hard and Daydreaming and Baby I that she will be performing. And I can't wait till the Wicked movie comes out on Thanksgiving. She is the queen. She is amazing. She is an angel. She did nothing wrong. And she is slaying no matter how many people try to troll her over something that absolutely is none of their business, let alone that she did nothing wrong by moving on. When you're separated from somebody, you can date whoever you want until you get officialized. And now you're officializing that divorce, but she was separated. And he was separated from his wife, too. So he did nothing wrong. They're separated. They can date who they want. Now, officially getting a divorce to commit to that relationship that they want to be in, that's their decision. It had nothing to do with one another. It was already happening. They was already separated when they started going out. So how could they possibly cheat when she was already separated, moving on to a different guy that is gonna support her, that is gonna love her, that she does want to be with? Now she got a new Cloud Pink song coming out. She's got a new profile, looking great. She's being active more. She has songs she's gonna be performing like a throwback, Baby I Tap Too Hard, to celebrate the 10 years of them. We get to see her more instead of being hidden. She looks happy. She's not letting anybody tear her down, and she's moving on because she knows she did nothing wrong. I was talking about that in my last podcast and wanted to continue to finish it in this podcast to touch base on that. And also, he did nothing wrong as well. I was also talking about that last podcast. I am a big fan of SpongeBob, so of course I'm gonna like this guy. Uh, you know, did the SpongeBob live, then did the SpongeBob episodes, but like like is this the voice of SpongeBob and all that stuff? No, it's a SpongeBob live guy, but did great, did amazing. I'm a big fan of SpongeBob. Don't care how old you get. SpongeBob is like the number one cartoon that everybody watches, no matter what age you are. Little kid, baby, toddler, adult, a teen, an older person, doesn't matter. It is like the number one show that everybody at least knows of, if not watches it too. Anyways, he was already separated from his wife. That's on whatever was going on in that relationship. He can move on without people saying, "Oh, you cheated, you're homewrecker," and this and that. It's not cheating in a homewrecker when you was already separated before you started dating, when they was already apart. That gives them the right to date who they want because you're separated, you're single. It's a matter of getting it officialized. So I wanted to wrap that up and talk about real life on that because it's been, all over the internet, over social media, over YouTube, and it's a big thing. And since I'm a big fan of Ariana Grande, I'm obsessed with Ariana Grande, I'm my number one fan. I wanted to back up what I was saying in my last podcast and finish that up on both terms in behalf of that. And also, with that being said, I was talking about my podcast, how I'm combining these two podcasts into two episodes into one video instead of aparting them with a lot of things going on. And I was talking about, I took them, like, we went to go church camping, and I loved it. It was amazing. We just called it Prairie Dogs, and it was amazing as a kid, and how we've been, going swimming, going to the zoo, and going fishing. Now, the kiddos are about to be back in school uh, this coming week now. So I was talking about the end of the year, how SummerSlam just passed, and now we're already at the end of how SummerSlam is the second biggest, you know, pay per view all year round. As it was passing, now we're already towards the end of the year, and this Friday for next year in April, Philadelphia WrestleMania tickets going on sale. So that brought back, now we're already about that time of the year. Now the kiddos are about to be back in school with us. Like I said, I took them fishing and they went camping, swimming, and got to go to the zoo, get something to eat, go get some ice cream, drive by the lake. It's been fun. It's been amazing. And that, I'm hoping next year in the summertime that I can take them, that we can go to Disney World. I've been to Disney World. It was a fun experience. But I was like 4, 5 years old when I went to Disney World. I do remember it. I remember the Jaws. When I went on the boat, they purposely set me by the edge where the shark would jump out. And yeah, it's that, haha, funny, you set the little kid by the edge. Well, I thought, obviously thought it was a real shark and it was a mechanic shark. That, it wasn't funny for the next person that was sitting next to me because they got a big old scar in their thigh to laugh about since then. So, that wasn't too smart to do. And then, and then, like, sharks are my favorite animal since then, and snakes, because I think they're rad. I think they're cool. But you won't catch me in the deep end, though. I love oceans, love lakes, but you won't catch me in the deep end unless we're in a swimming pool because it's leveled. A couple drowning accidents that happened. I'm sure I told you guys about that. That's happened in the past, so that's why. Don't want to have that again. But, and I love water. I love the ocean. That's why Aquaman's my favorite superhero movie, because I love water. So that's why sharks are my favorite. I love water to appreciate the sharks that are my favorite. So that incident did not scar me. It actually made me love them more, because now sharks are my favorite animal, and I love water. Aquaman's my favorite movie because of the water, and also Jason Simone is hot. I love. He was hosting a Shark Week all this last week or the week before. So how about that? Double win-win. Got a cute guy on my favorite movie. Got a favorite movie and love to breathe in the water, and I also got a favorite animal. How about that? And snakes, they got water snakes, so there you go. I just like them because I think they're cool the way they move, the way they, have the bones so they can get on quick and fast and, move there and stuff. That's why that I like that part. So, this past week, you know, hang out with finishing up that back to school clothes. Yay, you get to go back to school, but now it's time to get all the school clothes and the back to school shoes and school supplies and book bags and all that stuff. And yeah, now that it's all done, they're ready to go back to school. But thank God they're going back to school and got all that oxygen, that running around that you had to do in such a little time out of the way. With that being said, I also got a new job that I'm starting here at this warehouse. Be working at a warehouse for Amazon that I'm starting as well. So thank God we got the school shopping out of the way for the kids to go back to school. That, they're my niece and nephews, but it's like my niece and nephews are the closest I'm ever gonna have to kids. So that's why, it's important. It's a big thing, and it's like, yeah, I understand it, because like I said, my niece and nephews are the closest I'm gonna have to kids. Plus, I got a lot of little cousins as well, and I was talking about a big family, and that I have so many cousins that can also be my friends too, and I still have family, a lot of family left. And now I got, fans for my career and things like this that you guys are watching this too. So now they got that out of the way. Going back to school, got clothes, shoes, and all that stuff. I also supposed to be getting new shoes for my new job at Amazon, and I'll be 100% ready to go. So I'll be not tired for it. How about that? Because I don't start till next Sunday. It's like, and I love Amazon. I'm a big fan. Amazon and me are best friends. I'm a big fan of shopping on Amazon. So how about I get a discount as I work for Amazon? And they're also providing me new shoes. I start that. Well, I relate to that I won't be tired out, and how it relates to that because with it being tired out and talking about the new year and new things happening, that flows along with it. That's what I had to do, with this podcast in general. In case you think that I'm just rambling, and it's not just rambling. It gives a good value and a good point. It's just I don't want to, talk like that and not get anything out of what I'm talking about. So you get what I'm saying because it had everything to do with it. Because like I said, we had SummerSlam that passed. Now we got WrestleMania coming up. The tickets go on sale this Friday, heading into new next year. With the end of this year, now got school back, kids back in school with the school shopping. Talk about new things in New Year as well. That's what I had to do with it, and that's why I was talking about those last podcasts. I wanted to touch base to finish what I was talking about because they've been a couple podcasts ago, so that's been a few weeks ago. So you kind of get the rest of the scoop in the story what I was talking about and how I feel about it and the facts that I was talking about. With, J. Cole spitting the facts is doing double duty on Raw and SmackDown commentary. New gear, new attitude, new look, the clothes and stuff. That this podcast is combined into one because of that. And now, you won't be tired out when you fresh start out the job, when you fresh start out. That I was talking about as far as now. Hey, we're still talking about SummerSlam, and now we're heading into WrestleMania. I want to get tickets. I never been to WrestleMania. I've been to Raw, I've been to SmackDown, been to NXT, been to WWE Live, WWE Super Showdown. I've got to meet some wrestlers, like AJ Styles and Oxa. That's the pictures are up there with the autograph, and I've got like their feedback. But one of my favorite commentaries, like Corey Graves, has liked my comment a couple times, and a favorite Baggers member that Danny has also liked my comment that I was talking about, like me versus Face, and that when I was at a W Live one time, that the New Day had threw me a pancake, but it was so fast, it was like a frisbee, that it didn't really catch it, so it kind of just went past my hand. But I totally had my hand up and I totally was ready and prepared for it, but it didn't happen the way that I wanted it to. It was literally like a frisbee. It's not as easy as you think to catch that flying pancake. We're right now in the baseball season, right? Talk about in the baseball season. Well, how about that? There's your pancake baseball going right past you. Talk about frisbee season. How about that? And now we're into football, my favorite. I'm not really a basketball fan, so I know a lot of people like basketball, and it just my brother played it. I did play basketball, and it was like the only thing to do that was fun out of the gym and stuff. And I was forced to play with my brothers because they wanted to play basketball all the time because the hoop was right there, and it's like it's easy to play basketball right here. Take break dribble or take a shots. That way you can like talk in conversations and throw the ball around at the same time. Whereas football, you're using all that oxygen that, it's kind of more of a game than talking. So, and it's like at nighttime, you can't really see right in the backyard. So, even if you do turn on the porch light back there, that it's just easier to go out the front and shoot hoops. So, it's just like a calming thing to do when we was at the gym, like at school and stuff. I don't really want to jump rope. I rather play basketball than jump rope. To me, kids got black eyes from us playing hockey, so we couldn't do that anymore. And we used to have these scooters that we used to ride on and have racing, but obviously kids don't know how to act, and we did do that for a while, but now obviously couldn't do that anymore. So they took all the funds away. So the only thing was that hoop, yelling my name, let's play basketball is better than playing jump rope. So I really don't like it, but I'm sure you got pictures videos of me when I've had played basketball. It's like I don't really like it, but I kind of sucked into playing it and acknowledging and knowing it a little bit. I rather watch him play football as I was in football too. So I'm glad that it's football season and now it's time to watch that as we already had two games. I think it's been three now. There was one on last night, but I'm not sure who won. I was watching it a little bit. I know that the Seahawks won against the Minnesota, and I know that the Patriots came up short against Texans. I watched those two games. I was watching one last night, but I'm not exactly sure who won it though. So not even gonna talk about that because it was kind of cutting into between football and the news. So had I watched that in the news, I rather watch football than watch the news because I get updates on my phone of what goes on around the world. So I know as far as if I got plans, I know what the weather's gonna be like. That comes on my phone. I know what's going on around the world on the news by my phone. I get updates and notifications. But I was at my grandparents' house and they like to watch the news like 20 times a day. So yeah, gotta watch a little bit of that game. And it started at like 9 o'clock, and the news started at 10. So I only got like an hour of it. It was kind of like no one was really scoring. It was playing back and forth. And I was like, well, that obviously has to be a good game, right? If no one's scoring, but you're getting a watch, you're getting a view, and you're getting a game because there wasn't no stopping and getting a bunch of penalties or getting disqualified for getting in a fight. It wasn't nothing like that. It was you was actually watching a football game that was so good that neither one of the team wanted to go down, so it wasn't scoring, and that's a real good football match that you'd be watching or game that you'd be watching. So it's fun to watch it. It was enjoyable. It's kind of like now I get to relax and drink down a beer from me and wine cooler and watch the football game. And I also had some nachos too. What better than to chill your night like that? And then check out my updates on my SmackDown, prediction videos so I can do my podcast like today for you guys. So a lot of things been happening, a lot of things been going on. Want to get off my chest so you can watch those couple podcasts I was talking about, and then watch this one and kind of get the rest of the scoop, the rest of the story, and you can kind of get some updates with watching this that just in general why it is a double episode into one video and how it does relate to switching the commentaries and things going on and why it makes more sense to do it this way and how the inside news and updates are just as important as what you're going to talk about in the video and in the podcast and how you come about that. And I was talking about like the title and stuff that I've already titled things that's happening with I like to match the titles with the pictures and match the pictures with what I'm talking about videos. So I hate when you think you're gonna watch a video and you look at the picture and then the video is totally different than what it represented with the title and picture. That it's way off and it's like, what the hell is this? What did I get myself into? This is not what I view, what I not necessarily pay, but what I clicked on to view and watch. What the hell is going on here? So it's kind of like that. So I like to match them up so it makes sense. And in case it doesn't, I like to explain to you so it makes sense, but also make it fun, make it cool for you guys. It's like it is fun. It's a podcast about wrestling. Wrestling is totally fun. It's the number one sport in America. And it is. Look it up. Facts. It is. So, with that being said, and carrying on and stuff, I want to talk about how LA Knight, a megastar. We got The Miz, who is a megastar on Monday Night Raw. Whether you like him or not, I mean, he's been Intercontinental Champion, he's been WWE Champion, he's been Mr. Money in the Bank. He has his own Miz TV show. He's been in movies. He's got a Miz Maurice. The Miz is a A-lister made for the cameras, and he is a megastar on Monday Night Raw. But LA Knight, who was on after the bell, is also a megastar of Friday Night SmackDown. I mean, he's the number one superstar that had the most gear sold out in the month of July. He has won the Battle Royal at SummerSlam. He's, he technically he should have his own show on SmackDown, as he's taken Miz right in his face to the next level, letting him know, hey, I'm here now, and I ain't got nothing to be ashamed of. And he keeps winning these competitions and these matches and keeps rising himself up and up and up to, that he should be the one next in line for a championship opportunity. Now, me, I'm not sure what championship he should be in line for. Now, with the United States Championship belt switching hands, I would like to see Rey Mysterio defend his United States Championship belt against LA Knight. I think that would be a flawless match, and that would be one of a kind, and that would be a kind of match that saves views for SmackDown, because with Jey Uso being out of WWE now, it's like people like me and lots of people, majority of the people, you can tell that Jey Uso has made a big impact as an individual, as a superstar on SmackDown. Why people pay to go to SmackDown, watch on Peacock or on cable for SmackDown or on YouTube for people like Jey Uso, who's making SmackDown, the number one show. And it's like Roman Reigns isn't always there all the time, which means that and Jimmy isn't always there all the time. And Solo, he was getting a rise, getting a singles action competition and match showing how dominant and rising star that he is. But it kind of, he kind of put him in a group. They kind of shoved him in the Bloodline group, and it's like if Roman isn't here now you may not see Solo either. And then we know that Jimmy wasn't here a lot of times. That's why Jay got that outcome. Superstar got that individual, what he can do by himself. And with him being gone out of the WWE, that's going to put a big dent in SmackDown with Jey Uso being gone. That now people want to watch Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw. People want to watch Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch, the number one Raw show, Monday Night Raw now. But with people like LA Knight and Rey Mysterio, they can save SmackDown because they are, Rey Mysterio's a legend, Hall of Famer, 3-time United States champion. He's done it all. Biggest little man in WWE history and still making history, making impact, becoming the new 3-time United States champion on SmackDown. And with that being said, you have like LWO, right? As a family, like I was talking about the Lucha Underground respect, how he was on NXT with Dragon Lee, that how they combine them together like that. And I was talking about what he's worked with Kalisto or Sin Cara, and then you got Rey Mysterio himself. That I was talking about how they still then wrestled and now they still combine together as one. Whether it's NXT, SmackDown, whatever, or wherever. And that, with that being said, that's why he's one of my favorites of all time. And that's why he is one of the greatest of all time. I have 5 favorites of all time. 3 of them is the one that got me into wrestling, the one that got me inspired in wrestling, the one that got me wanting to be a wrestling superstar and could believe in myself as I was wanting it, physical shape and mentality. And they all started about the same time. Rey Mysterio, John Cena, and Randy Orton. John Cena gives me the enthusiasm that I need to make sure that, hey, as much as I always wanted to wrestle, thinking wise, my physical with getting that strength to be able to wrestle comes along with it. And then Randy Orton kind of gives me that vibe that I don't have to be the strongest one there because I can use my mind games. That's where that may not have the power, the muscle strength like John Cena to pick up the 3 squats with 500 pounds. As much as those muscles, everyone has some muscles, right? And they look good, but they don't have to be as big as John Cena's. That's where Randy Orton use your brain to get to the top. is just as strong as the muscle physical, the mentality is. And then you have Rey Mysterio, who's like me, not so tall, can use the quickness and to the advantage, and now he's the biggest little man in WWE history. So they gave me such impact and things like that. And it was like I was worried about, oh, I'm not strong enough, I'm not tall enough, my appearance and things like that. And they gave me that charisma, they gave me that build up that I need. That I'm like between them three people, between them three superstars, I can use my strength like Cena. I can use my mentality, which is just as powerful and strong like Randy Orton because nobody's a mind reader. And I can use my quickness like Rey Mysterio. It doesn't matter if I'm smaller than you because you're gonna fall harder on your face. So they gave me that, and you know, with the other two I was talking about, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, they come along a little bit like later, like when I was maybe 12 or 13. When they wrestled against each other in the NXT, and then they became the Shield together in the NXT. I would think I was about 12 or 13, I think. But since then, they put impact on me too, to always believe in yourself. To always, it doesn't matter if other people does or not. As long as you believe in yourself, you can do it. Because if you don't believe or love yourself, how are you going to believe or love someone else? And so they both gave me that. And with them, I always compare them because they do have so much in common. And they have come together, with them wrestling in NXT together, with them being the Shield, and they both become the United States champion, Intercontinental, WWE champion. They dominate now. Roman Reigns as Universal Champion on SmackDown, and Seth Rollins World Heavyweight Champion on Monday Night Rollins. Now they still back then ran together as the Shield, dominating WWE as the Shield, and still today running Raw and SmackDown as individuals. And like I was talking about Rey Mysterio, now Randy Orton and John Cena may not be here right now, but we have like Rey Mysterio, 3-time United States champion, still hanging, still there, still around for people like me to keep going, keep building it up. And it's like certain superstars have their own ways, their own, ability that they use, and it's like with these five, that's what impacted people like me as I was growing up watching and participating in sports to get to where I wanted to be a superstar. So that way, I want to do that. Not because of they wanted to do it, I've always wanted to do it. They just showed me how to do it and how to get there and how to make it last and make it worth it. People now I got, I was wanted to show you last time on my podcast video, I was going to show you my collection of cards that was over on the other side of the room, and I want to stick to that promise. Like I'm talking about Seth freaking Rollins here, our world heavyweight champion. I wanted to show you that because I said I would show you guys last time, and I wanted to stay true to my promise, and that I did, along with Big Time Bex, who had a great time this last Monday Night Raw, sucking down some lemonade, watching Shayna Baszler tear Zoe Starks apart. Along with the Viper Randy Orton, I was talking about the impact of him being one of a kind, one of the dominating superstars that impacted my life to make it there. They didn't have a Roman Reigns one. I didn't see. I wish they did, but they didn't. And now we have Mercedes Moné, who's people. Okay, now you got the muscle, the quickness. It's like, okay, it doesn't matter if you're the strongest, the tallest, but being small, because you can use that quickness while you're small. You can use mentality for your strength. You can use the ability that appearance doesn't matter. When you're good, you're good. And that it doesn't matter if you have family or not, you as an individual can do so and prove people wrong like Rey Mysterio. And now it's like, okay, it doesn't matter now if you're tall, you're short, you're strong, you're fat, or heavy set, I should say. Quickness can go with the small. Mentality can go with strength. Ability, believing in yourself can go with just making it last as a superstar in general. Wanting and now doing. And it doesn't matter, and it's like, it doesn't matter, the race, because one's, white, one's tan, and one's Mexican. So it doesn't matter the race. It doesn't matter the size. One's short, one's tall, one's strong. It doesn't matter about the size and the race. So it's like you can go in there as one race and don't have to worry about it. You can go on there as one what you set to the bar and don't have to worry about it. Now we're talking about gender. People like Mercedes Monet showing you that gender doesn't matter either. Or people like this one right here, Bianca Belair, who's on Friday Night SmackDown, who technically, she made history, officially beating all the horsewomen, becoming women's champion, that she's been training to be officially all the horsewomen, and that she has been waiting to become that women's champion against Asuka, who she did in first place at SummerSlam. Talking about the good and the bad of her SummerSlam impacts that are greatest, moments. Even though Io Shirai cashed in Money Bank and now is our new women's champion, that Bianca Belair has done it and has successfully made history once again at things like SummerSlam that will last in history forever. And it's like now, you got to hold a Bailey that was attacking everybody and anything that moved between Charlotte and Asuka, and that Bianca was the one to take her down. But obviously, with the numbers, Io Shirai waiting for that time and that moment, that's why Damage Control is the dominated team of SmackDown, as well as Judgment is the dominated team of Raw. And then we have the megastar, like I was talking about with LA Knight of SmackDown, as you have the megastar, The Miz on Raw. You have the New Day now returning back to Monday Night Raw. And we got LNW, Street Profits on SmackDown as a tag team. We're talking about the tag team between Raw and SmackDown. We're talking about the megastars. We're talking about the dominating groups and the big impact, like the Bloodline, who's really taken SmackDown to the number one spot because of that. And it's like now with one of them being gone, how is that going to play out? How is that going to keep it in the mode where it needs to be? But speaking of the New Day and tag teams and things like that, the New Day welcoming back Xavier Woods picking up a tag team victory on Monday Night Raw, including after an injury, Kofi Kingston officially the New Day. Up, up, down, down, Xavier Woods, who was on the bump, officially back as a tag team as the New Day, winning on Monday Night Raw, and Kofi Kingston returning after his injury, returning with the New Day rocking Monday Night Raw and a W exclusive, letting the new entertainers, commentators, exclusives that the New Day is back in business. And who also plays a lot of the Up, Up, Down, Down episodes. We also seen Tyler Breeze on there, and there was on the bump I was talking about. And I was talking about Bailey with dominating and the Damage Control, that I think that now with that attack that it should definitely be Bailey and Io Shirai and a tag team against Asuka and Charlotte. I was really hoping with Dakota Kai being back together with Damage Control, that obviously I didn't think that she was injured anymore, and that we could put her and Belair in there to make it a six-man match. But it looks like it might be a tag team action with that attack and stuff, as she was on the bump as well. Bailey was on the bump, Tyrese was on the bump, and Sarah was on the bump. So I wanted to welcome back our New Day as a tag team on Monday Night Raw, and with the up, up, down, down, that Tyrese is on a lot of them. With Xavier Woods, who's a part of the New Day that returned to Monday Night Raw after months, and now officially not injured Kofi Kingston. Now we're just waiting to see if Biggie Langston can complete it. Kind of like I was talking about with when Bayley was on the bump, how Dakota Kai was there to celebrate at SummerSlam, but I don't know if she's in condition to wrestle. Because I wanted to add her and Belair to make it a six-man match, because with them attacking them on SummerSlam, and then they attacked them on Monday Night on SmackDown, it needs to be a tag team for attacking them. And then she put a big impact on Bianca by cashing in that Money in the Bank, so she's kind of included too in this because she did make history. She made moment that will last forever before that happened, but it's like now you kind of stripped her from her. You kind of took that moment and you tried to humiliate her by, like when she lost against Becky Lynch, like Becky Lynch kept saying, 26 seconds I beat you until, she beat Becky Lynch the next SummerSlam around and earned her respect when Damage Control returned. And now, with Bianca being the last horseman that she needs to do, becoming women's champion like she's been waiting and training to do, you tried to take that from her to, be like, now you're the longest WWE champion to the shortest WWE champion and the shortest win to now the respect win. And it's kind of like, that's how she, you're kind of playing with her like a basketball, bouncing her up and down, bouncing her around. And a great athlete, supreme athlete like Bianca Belair earns respect and deserves more opportunity, more audacity than that happened. And that obviously I can see an old classic NXT match between Io Shirai and Belair for the Women's Championship belt. I think that would be worth it. And that maybe now we'll see something different like Charlotte and Asuka instead of at Bianca Belair's throat with her and Asuka, she might be, on Team Belair like she was before, but Alexa Bliss was there against Bailey because it's like, well, Bailey attacked her and Asuka doesn't play well when you attack her, so she'll be coming back with that miss. And then Charlotte seems like since she's came back that her and Bianca kind of have an alliance, kind of have a tag team, like they both were working together against Bailey and Io Shirai, and they both was trying to work together to get Asuka out of the match when they won a tag team on SmackDown and did the same thing at SummerSlam. So it's like I could see Charlotte helping her out as well, having her back and being like, but once I help you, I'm next in line, sort of thing. To become 15-time women's champion. That way she can get to that 16 time sit on top of the mountain with her father, the nature boy, one and only Ric Flair. So that's more of a Survivor Series thing match. But because they now the Survivor Series, it used to be red versus blue van, and then they brought in NXT brand because a lot of them came from there, and then they brought the War of NXT now to WWE. How about you want to bring in NXT and WWE with the Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT. Now how about NXT gets to be brought into WWE, bringing that War game, and because a lot of them came from NXT, that's where they all started. So it made sense. And also, they have such big impacts on each brand, so it made sense to combine them together, kind of bring NXT invading WWE, and then WWE did the same thing NXT to make one big impact, one show. And how many views it takes got sold, I can imagine was one of the biggest out of all, whether just red versus blue Survivor Series definitely made a bigger impact on it. That it used to be like that, but now it with everything getting swirled around, that it could be like that still at Survivor Series, even though all these women are on SmackDown. Because I really don't see anybody from Raw getting involved, because it really, unless they get it handled before then, they got something else up their sleeve, like maybe Belair could versus Asuka or versus Io Shirai get our women's championship belt back, and have Charlotte taking out Bailey because of the fact she attacked her at SummerSlam. Plus, have a tag team on SmackDown for doing that as well, and including if Dakota Kai could get off injury and be involved, because I'm not sure if she's still injured. I know she was there at SummerSlam, and I know that she kind of was there, but she didn't really get involved though. She was just there to celebrate, so I'm not sure she'd be there if Asuka were to work with Bianca on a team again instead of being against her again, only because of the fact that getting attacked on SummerSlam and SmackDown as well with the tag team match, and then it's going to continue because obviously Damage Control wants to stay dominant on SmackDown. But obviously Asuka isn't going to let that slide and let that go, so you kind of get the diss. And then maybe you'll bring Bianca Belair as women's champion versus Rhea Ripley as women's champion because they've crossed paths before where, you know, Rhea beat Belair for the NXT Women's Championship on NXT, but then Belair's team did. But then Belair since then has beaten Rhea Ripley to be Raw Women's Champion on Monday Night Raw. They respect each other. They had like a war game before it got dragged into WWE. They both one sort, like Bianca leading to the victory over War Game with Rhea Ripley being involved in general, and Rhea Ripley doing the same thing when it happened on NXT. That they have a lot of history. They have a lot, strength and power as individuals. That seeing Rhea and Bianca go against each other at Survivor Series, I think that would lead up to that, and that would be a good theory and a good match, and that one would because they both have, they're both about each other's height. They're both about as powerful and strong and ruthless as one another, and they both know each other really well in that ring. So it's like that would be no other than a fantastic match that perhaps would steal the show. The reason why we want to watch matches and have moments like this to put an impact on it. So I think that would be a really good idea. Of course, we have a lot of things that happened before then. I'm getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but it it makes sense because it had to go with the flow and with the point and what I was talking about. Otherwise, it kind of seems like you're skimping all over a little bit. So we had to get to in what I was talking about. With that being said, talk about dominate teams, talk about friendships and tag teams. What about the Academy, who was on After the Bell as well? Remember these over the last 2 weeks, 1 week, and also the SummerSlam one. With Chad Garrison and Otis, Chad Garrison really putting Gunther to the extreme for the Intercontinental Championship belt, and Otis really showing people that he is the strength of the team, not the flop as the Imperial tried to make him look like he was. Chad winning his victory, really pushing Gunther the Intercontinental Champion to the limits, and Otis obviously came up short because of Imperio getting involved, all three of them, as Chad Gaberson now is the man to verse Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship belt because he won his victory and he's earned that right. And now they're trying to take it out on his partner and his team. And Maxine obviously not letting them get away with it, giving them a slap across the face from the disrespect and all that haywire happening. That, it could lead to a mixed tag team. But the only thing is, it's 3 men and 2 men and a woman. So it's kind of like it's a 3-on-2 situation here. But I'm pretty sure that Otis can take on 2 guys with the power and the strength that he does have, as we would call him, the tree trunk. He is the strength. He's the one that holds the team down, and together with the power, and then with the mastermind would be Chad Garrison that can get in the head and hold them together, as well as the physicality, strength of Otis holding them together. And that Maxine, she brings fire to the team. She brings sparks to the team. She brings enthusiasm that you can really do something bigger and more impacting with your team than what you're putting out there. And they each have their own individualities. They each have their own personalities, what they bring to the table as a dominating team, and why that made such an impact on it from this past Monday Night Raw wrestling, by the way, including our World Heavyweight Champion, Seth freaking Rollins, remaining as such as well, um, with him and the American Nightmare, like we was talking about with the him and the American Nightmare have, this feud, able to work together, win a 6-man tag team match, celebrate, and then all of a sudden Shinsuke Nakamura says, hey, kick in the face of Seth Rollins, he wants a World Heavyweight Championship match. He's been saying, kind of turning to this dark and evil side. Shinsuke has been kind of giving that vibe that he's doing a heel turn again. Um, He helped win the match to get rid of the Judgment Day in a 6-man match. I guess he disliked them more than he disliked Seth, so he did that, and now he wants a World Heavyweight Championship opportunities. All what explains why he would attack him, or why he would do that. So that is the only explanation for that, and it's been feuding over the last few weeks with Shinsuke. If you've been paying close attention to what he's saying and how he's acting, that it's been coming for this heel turn of him. So talk about heel turn, talk about damaging and destruction and OMG, how about Logan Paul picking up the victory over Ricochet at SummerSlam? Both Ricochet sticking up for obviously his relationship and his family with Samantha, who's on out of character, really beating the hell out of Logan Paul before he got to win that. And he got to take a cheap shot with the phone and picture two, and so the Ricochet with the kick, going after him for weeks before that happened. And that I say Ricochet is still a true Ninja Warrior, as he was in the Fatal 4-Way opportunity match with Matt Riddle when Chad Gaberson won that match. I was talking about for an Intercontinental Championship opportunity. Gunther not letting that get to him or slide or really change that he is a Ninja Warrior still of Monday Night Raw. And that Samantha is still a killer at the announcements. And I was talking about LNI, yeah, being on After the Bell, being the megastar Friday Night SmackDown. Maybe since he came in on The Miz on Monday Night Raw, really gave it to The Miz, let him know. Since my actions speak louder than words, because The Miz wants to take a cheap shot, maybe The Miz will come now invade LA Knight. Yeah! Megastar SmackDown moment. And of course, LA Knight has to be LA Knight Megastar and make sure that The Miz does not get the last of that. But of course, it might go back and forth and obviously lead to some kind of singles action match of which one you think is great. So I think that would be a great Survivor Series match too. LA Knight on SmackDown Megastar, yeah, versus the A-lister, the face of the camera, right? The Miz on Monday Night Raw to see which one do you think is the megastar. And a lot of people really, of course, we all want LA Knight and going for him as well. But we'll see how it plays out. We'll see what it leads up to as far as that goes. So with that being said, I've also had my SummerSlam video game I was talking about that it was just a video game. It wasn't, SummerSlam prediction, and it was theory of SummerSlam as well as the results. And I really like to create my characters in the 2K2023 with the creative wrestling and superstars and put an impact on that. I really like showing you guys them because I think they're cool. Like, I always come up with different creative minds, like whether it's fancy or good looking or whether it's like creepy kind of thing. I like to put a little bit of everything into there. Last time I was everyone's being up, down, down. Like, that's what I like to do on my video game. 2K23, and you guys really liked that video. You guys really watched it, enjoyed it, and I appreciate that of you guys doing that too. But obviously, I got my SummerSlam predictions and results that I will show you guys. That really led up to there. We also had Kofi Kingston and Eskimo, who was obviously attacked by Austin Theory, now 3-time United States champion. Celebrate Rey Mysterio from that, which, no disrespect to, Eskimos. He really, with him beating Austin Theory obviously took that as a threat, trying to attack him out of the match, getting out of it. Next thing you know, we got 3-time United States champion Rey Mysterio, who I wanted to win and become it in the first place because he's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. He deserves it. He puts so much into this business, so much that he's already done. And I wanted Rey Mysterio to do that because I feel like he deserves to be in that match and in that competition. It's like I said, no disrespect to Eskimo, but I, of course, was going for Rey Mysterio because it's my guy. That's one of my favorites of all time. So I had to stick with the flow and go with it. Now, also with him putting Impact like I'm on NXT. So I'm gonna show you my not videos backs. So this is the first one, the Monday Night Raw was talking about with the Judgment Day dominating on Monday Night Raw with Rhea Ripley as the Dominate Women's Champion, North American Champion, Dominic Mysterio, and Mr. Money in the Bank, Damian Priest, and our World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins, always burning it down on Monday Night Raw Rollins with Shawn Michaels. You know, it's just making their ass when you were younger. Shawn Michaels, Hall of Fame legendary, still taking shots at people that he knows. Just one sweet music kick would knock you down. You don't want to smoke with Shawn Michaels. And of course, Samantha being one of the greatest announcements as Ricochet was not taking that from Ricochet, being a Ninja Warrior, dominating on Logan Paul. And Maxine really bringing it to the table of the Academy, picking up a singles victory over Sarah Logan, bringing that energetic that I was talking about to the team of the Academy of Raw. Much like the Chase team, you know, she always brings the smart, the spark, the electric that goes along with it, and she always really makes the team move a lot stronger and put a lot into it on NXT. And this is a rival somehow between Seth and American Nightmare. Both of them exclusive, both, you know, the out character, and just some family feud. Why not play mastermind games? And how the Judgment Day really, whether you like it or not, they, you know, picking up victories and champions for a reason. But it's like, how can Finn Balor call himself the leader of the Judgment Day when he's the only one on the team not holding gold right now? So no wonder why Damian Priest thinks that, well, I'm the leader. I'm the one holding gold. You're not. So how does that work? But every time we think that they're gonna fight, the Judgment Day always sticks together and always dominates. I mean, together as a family, as you can see, as a team, that there's nothing's going to break them apart. Last time you see Corey and Kevin Patrick on Run That Raw right now, they're on SmackDown. J. Cole you'll be seeing on both Raw and SmackDown doing double duty. And they're kind of dominating champion with one. They're probably making sure Gunther stays as such. And Sami Zayn, one half of the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Champion, trying to help out Seth Rollins, even up the odds against the Judgment Day as they've been pulling his and Kevin Owens' leg about championship tag teams, American Nightmare not taking anything, trying to really put that impact on Brock Lesnar as he already won the match, and then Brock attacked him, and then it's been going on since Money in the Bank, or before then. Tommaso reminding Shinsuke Nakamura, you got one lucky shot, which anybody in your position would have done such as interfere in your match, but he's not one to sleep on. It ain't gonna happen again. He's already starting to strategize. Becky was not afraid to take you guys one on two. Big so he starts, and that's what caused her and Trish Stratus obviously get mad at each other. Now, it's not the first time she'd be outnumbered and one man band. Chad Garrison winning that victory that I was talking about. So this is a couple weeks ago on Raw before SummerSlam. The time between Sami Zayn and Seth that puts energy into the crowd while watching these two individuals. Because you have Sami Zayn, you know, he's a manipulated mind games, former Intercontinental Champion of SmackDown, and then you got a manipulated mind games like World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, Seth freaking Rollins on Monday Night Raw, and then they just put it together into one. So those are my 2 weeks ago Monday Night Raw results. I want to show you that came with them F character and after the bell talking about this is I'm not gonna show you this whole thing because it's like 17 minutes and it's just me playing a video game. You can watch, like, follow, and subscribe on Instagram and YouTube if you want to check out the Raw result video I just showed you in this full video of SummerSlam. I always want to skip through a little bit. Jay Uso is the true tribal chief. That he definitely got the last laugh, along with Roman Reigns remaining Universal Champion, and that he's really been able to take that domination match as well. Talking about new NXT Tag Team Champions, Roxanne really bringing it to Davenport that she is more than just a pretty face. Leslie being former North American champion against Dominic. That energy I some of the Chase team, of course. Anybody everything's on notice with Camilla NXT champion that Jay is really bringing to the commentary team. Jade Cargill putting the whole women's locker room on notice as she's been down and putting a big impact, letting Ellie know, don't disrespect me when I've been here first. You can get in the back of the line if you really want a match or opportunity. And this is that was NXT results 2 weeks ago. And this is a WWE Live 2 weeks ago. Severn's World Heavyweight Champ, making sure that fan knows why he is the World Heavyweight Champion, deserves his respect. And this is my video game I was talking about with a previous of before SummerSlam. So that was what I was talking about, the impact of both the past NXT that happened, results video that I put together, and including the previews for the press conference at SummerSlam that I wanted to put together. And my characteristics on the video game that I want to show you. So, you want to watch the rest, follow, subscribe on Instagram and YouTube. You can check out the rest on YouTube on my Jey Uso vs. Roman Reigns pre-SummerSlam. It's a video game, but it also has NXT results. And this is just a podcast, me from each podcast that I've done so far that I wanted to put together. What I do single podcast, double podcast, triple threat podcast, parts of podcasts, how I do my Raw predictions I was showing you, SmackDown predictions, and Raw and SmackDown results for the entertainment, for the admin, for the commentary, for my podcast, also my interviews and podcasts for you guys that I'm doing like this one right now, combine 2 episodes into 1 hour. That video game I was talking about, talk about how I'm in video games, anime, horror story, things like that. So as that you can follow, subscribe on Instagram and YouTube. If you want to check out the rest of that pre-SummerSlam along with my NXT results, it also has the press conference from NXT I'm going to show you right after this. That one gives some news and some updates about each individual one. So that's what I was doing. That's where it came from. That's why, it's updated. And I always like to talk about how some of the 3-time United States champion Rey Mysterio, Budokai 619 Hall of Famer, legendary, one of a kind, biggest little man in WWE history, deserves to make impacts. Things like that, like one of a kind, Rey Mysterio, Booyaka. This is an old one. And it still fits me too. I got that when I was little. Still fits me too. And it goes along with this hat right here. I also got these different ones. I got a purple one. I got a gray one. I really like the black and gray Rey Mysterio one. I think that looks awesome. I liked his green sparkling one he had. The purple one is when he spit blue mist, people's face. And then that shirt right there was like right now for moments that we just had. That I was just talking about with the that it still fits me even after all that. So I've had it for a long time. Used to get the Rey Mysterio shirt, action figures at Walgreens, and now you get them at Walmart or order them or the shop, buy it with these cards like this or anything and that matter. And it's just a little start of all movies I've seen so far and now. Seeing the comparisons and the good side, like the new Insidious movie that came out. How I like the third Insidious better than my third Insidious is my favorite of all the Insidious. The Haunted Mansion was good, better than Ghostbusters with Timothy making it funny, and that I like the then and now like Scary Movie 2 over the Black and I was talking about, and how the differences in these changed, but how they look similar versus all, and then the big impact of anime superheroes talking about uh, the obsession with during in Spirit Film with her new card Pink coming out in anime superheroes with the video game now showing you a little bit of everything. And then this will jump right into, I believe this is my SmackDown. Yeah, this will be my SmackDown results. With the LA Knight running and being the mega star that he is of LA Knight on SmackDown. Yeah! And Bianca Belair, the EST, always bring the energy to C4 Energy. And Alexa as former women's champion, as she was preparing for that SummerSlam match to stay as such. With whatever thing and anything that she had to do to make it as such. And that's what she did. And how we've been thank you for those follows and likes and supportion on Instagram is what that was about. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And also following and subscribing to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate that as well. This is my SummerSlam prediction, I believe, is next. This is the SmackDown results of a couple weeks ago before SummerSlam, 24 hours before SummerSlam. SmackDown results. Follow and subscribe. You can check out my SmackDown prediction that went along with the SmackDown results. And also follow and subscribe on Instagram. You can also check out what I was just showing you in the video game 2K23 creation. Uh, it also has the pre SummerSlam results of SummerSlam. I'm going to show you after this. So really brilliant impact, Jey Uso. And also the always fight night for Sheamus with the Brolin brothers. And no one wants to talk about the soccer season, baseball season. Now we're into the football season. And then this is just wrapping it all up. This was a little bit. I know you can't really hear with the music in the background, but you can watch the full video talking about the SummerSlam uh, press conference and also editions. And that there's rumors that Randy Orton may be coming back to the WWE. That's what that was about. Rumors. Let's see if they come true. But if he does, which brand? I think maybe I was thinking maybe SmackDown, but with Edge on SmackDown, maybe Randy Orton would go to Raw, and then you have LA Knight on SmackDown, Miz on Raw, but you also have Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch on Raw, but you have like Bianca Belair on SmackDown and Asuka, and now the New Day's on Raw, but the Street Profits on SmackDown, and Reed and Omos, I believe, is a part of Raw, and now we have like Roman Reigns and Solo and Jimmy as one, with Jay being gone out of SmackDown, but Theory, I believe, is still part of SmackDown, and Rey Mysterio and the LWO, and Damage Control. So that bring the Academy to Raw. So I'm like, where exactly will we place her anyway in Raw or SmackDown if that were true that he was coming back? I guess we'll find out if it's true and then we'll see. I'm going along with maybe SmackDown, but possibility to Raw. And the Street Profits, that's when turning heel and got some kind of team going on with Bobby Lashley as one, bringing back maybe the Hurt Business, except for with the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley dominating on SmackDown as the Hurt Business. The Jones Day that runs Raw. So they kind of wanted to create a team on SmackDown, and that's what that is. Talk about the 24 Chronicles, how Jay was preparing himself to be in that ring with Roman Reigns, knowing what's at stakes, knowing what's to come. Don't know why there's an ad, but this was my. Y'all really like my SummerSlam predictions better than Raw predictions. My SmackDown results. It's like it kind of flip flops a little bit, so it's like I got to do everything because it kind of tore around. Like you like my SummerSlam predictions better than my Raw predictions, but my Raw results better than my SmackDown results, and my SmackDown prediction was equality to after this. To before this, I showed you my SummerSlam video game version, like it was a press conference of my versions because that's like the only closest you have to it. So yeah, you can watch the rest of that. Just subscribe, follow on Instagram and YouTube. Watch the rest of that later if you're interested in what I had to say. And this would actually be the results of SummerSlam with Roman Reigns remaining Universal Champion. So Jay really giving that last left that he's judged against Roman Reigns and giving revenge on Jimmy, showing him what it feels like to be backstabbed when you instead of backstabbing out straight in the heart for doing it to him. And Ronda Rousey now also now that Shayna Blazer has beat her as far as she said. And the American Nightmare Night when the Battle Royal. American Nightmare actually getting that respect from Brock Lesnar after defeating him. Bobby Lashley done like a little tennis and a little preparing workout with Brock Lesnar as you see before the matchup. Let's talk about the behind the scenes of SummerSlam, why Impact's still like talking about, 2 weeks later up till WrestleMania with the moments of it too. Like I was talking about favorite moments and of SummerSlam and Return to SummerSlam. My last podcast is that you can check out on YouTube, Queen Crazy K, and why it resulted to now the Dance Straw together as one. That's why I'm like, I don't know if she's still injured or because she didn't really participate. She was just there to celebrate with them. So, and she hasn't been there, so I don't know. And Bianca Belair was women's champion of her officially being on the horsewoman making history, and also what she's been preparing for weeks now since since Money in the Bank, actually Night Champions now. So actually months. And with her getting rid of for the women's champion, that was talking about Bailey all over Charlotte and Asuka. Io Shirai becoming new one's champion after Bianca already beat all the horsewomen, being one's champion, making history, and now she got rid of Asuka. She's been going out of throat since, like I said, it's been Night of Champions, so it seemed like a long time. Because that was before Money in the Bank. And obviously, the magician mastermind that LA won the Battle World, that Ronda Rousey now says she's out of WWE as Shayna Blazer won that victory victorious at SummerSlam. As well as Jay, who got the last laugh over Jimmy Bennett, and Jimmy now seems like he's having WWE SmackDown. He's not. So I'm not exactly sure why that is. That's why I need people like, if that rumor is true, Randy want to go to SmackDown and make that big impact up. And World Heavyweight Champion over Finn Balor, remaining as such. No matter what he had up his sleeve or shenanigans or pieces or anything that he had, wasn't winning against Seth Rollins in this one. The emotion and the feeling after 7 years, he said. He's been looking forward to this. 7 years. When Seth Rollins and Finn Balor were to make that history and that impact for the first ever Universal Championship belt match, that Finn Balor would have won, and then Seth won World Heavyweight Champion against him on Monday Night Raw, and then Finn's been trying to attack him. Seth's been winning over him, Dominic and Damian Priest, and he's even had Sami Zayn helping him, Kevin Owens helping him, who's chilling at baseball, hung out as you see. I played a little baseball too for the Omaha Storm Chasers. You can look on my Instagram and find that I played baseball as well. And that blue hat that it's over there now, that kind of looks like a baseball hat. And Logan Paul trying to win the match with Ricochet, but also intimidate his family. But Ricochet wasn't letting him intimidate his family and get away with it. He may have won the match, but he didn't win the battle. And Becky Lynch just those famous limits that Becky Lynch had on Monday Night Raw, making her famous lemonade, enjoying herself at ringside. As Zoe Starks was getting demolished by Shayna Blazer. And there's the press conference with Triple H in the game. And Io Shirai, our new women's champion, but she has the Money in the Bank still too, even though she's new women's champion. Like, no, you don't get both. Once you cash in one, you get the other. A big impact between Jimmy and Jay after that with Roman Reigns. It train all that way there just for that to happen. And the phenomenal AJ Styles being a part of that Battle Royal homage. So Shinsuke Nakamura, you see the Viking Raiders in there, see the Academy in there, being part of that Battle Royal that LA Knight won. Reese. And the moments and the feelings that come along with that right before you go out that curtain of each individual superstar. Drew McIntyre's for the Intercontinental Champions against Gunther, who remains as such with the Imperial. Dominate anything and everything that moves. And the respect that came along. Finally getting that respect truly from Brock and Cody Rhodes after Cody Rhodes winning that match. For Brock Lesnar to respect you, that's a big impact because you know Brock Lesnar, he beats people, he dominates people, he humiliates them, doesn't care what happens, or it just takes it to the next level. So the fact that you got respect from Brock Lesnar, that's a big impact that you can have after winning against Brock and getting his respect. Not only did Brock Lesnar, give you a hug and sign of respect from you in that match, but he also shook your hand. And this is just the results of Raw and Chance Seth Rollins' signed some autographs I wanted to show you with the fast speed race I wanted to show you. And then this would be, so that was, last Raw, last SmackDown, prediction and results. and then the SummerSlam prediction results. So that was before then, 2 weeks ago. And now this last week, this Raw, this past Raw, and SmackDown predictions and results. Oh, including, that took out Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and SummerSlam. And including the press conference, your ideas in between there and all that good stuff. And now this would be this past now week with the Raw predictions. I was at a Funplex enjoying going. I didn't like the first slide at Funplex because I was laying down on the mat like I was supposed to. I was laying down on the mat like I was supposed to on this slide, and I was still like in the air on the slide, and I almost fell off of it. So I will not be going back on that slide anymore at Funplex because I almost fell out of it, and I was doing what I was supposed to do, and I was like, whoa! So I put my hands down, like, what the hell is going on here? What is this? And I almost fell out of it. It wasn't funny. I'm just glad that the man upstairs, God, was looking over for me and make sure I stayed the sound. Came out of the pool like, yay, everything's fine. I'm not going on that slide again because I almost fell off of it. And then, but the tunnel slides definitely. I love the dark one because you don't know when it's gonna happen, and I love the light one because you kind of just get the. It's like you're flying in clouds, and then they have these rocket ones that shoot you out of there. You cross your arms across. It's really fast, really fun, and you can breathe on them. They're fast, safe going up to enjoy the quickness of the water as you breathe, and it's really fun to go on those water slides. And then, of course, the lazy river swimming pool, with the waves and the roller coaster. The tilt-a-whirl, I can ride that all day long. And then, of course, these are when I was over by the tree by the water boats, and they have video games and stuff. So that was really fun going to Fun Place over this last weekend. That was enjoyable. With that, I went swimming in all the roller coasters at Fun Place with my cousin over his last weekend. Well, I showed you that WWE Live wrestling matches that happened over this last week, and too, along with the past NXT Raw and SmackDown last week, including SummerSlam over the last week, or 2 weeks, and then over the last week that was my Raw prediction. And here's my Raw results, and then I'll show you my SmackDown results in NXT over this last week. Seth Rollins remained World Heavyweight Champion as such. With Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins really bringing out the beginning of Monday Night Raw, how they had that arrival and that moment inside the ring with one another, and giving impact on the crowd on both Raw and SmackDown, and winning the six-man tag team match with Shinsuke Nakamura, want to be next for the World Heavyweight Champion at the Judgment Day. And that's what I was talking about, how Chad Garrison winning the Fatal 4-Way, next in line for Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship belt, and also then Priya against SmackDown Matt Sane, who cheated against Otis in that match. And Shinsuke Nakamura won against Reed, and Becky Lynch making her famous leg, really enjoying herself. And Zoe starts to Shayna Baszler, giving her a match to sit back and sip some LA Knight laying out the Miz, showing that he's the next megastar now, whether it's Raw or SmackDown or both. And that was awesome. It's a Sunday, they said. Dyson, And Raquel really letting Rhea Ripley know you're not going to get away with that attack of her knee. Being the hell of her, including Kansas, that she kind of threw down for the women's championship, that she wants that next in line spot. And Sami Zayn trying to analyze, trying to step in and really even it up that, they won this match. They have nothing to, they got over the Judgment Day that tried to attack them and winning the six-man match and getting the battle. And then Shinsuke just pops out of nowhere like, I want Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship, and kicks him right in the mouth. It's like, well, if you wanted a match, just go challenge the guy. But we kind of seen this coming with Shinsuke kind of going to the dark side to the heel turn over the last 2 weeks. That we've been seeing that a little bit, so it's really not a surprising that that happened. So as that wraps up the last 2 weeks of Raw prediction, Raw results, SmackDown prediction, SmackDown results, and the press conference at SummerSlam, the actual SummerSlam, including the NXT and WWE Live, and then this past up the last week of Raw prediction and Raw results. Now I will show you, and then the rest of the WWE Live and Super Showdown I was just talking about with Seth Rollins, World Heavyweight Champion over Finn Balor. Dominic is still the North American Champion, and Rhea Ripley, Women's Champion. How Rhea Ripley could have a Women's Championship opportunity against Raquel next, and or maybe they'll have some kind of grudge match since it seems like everybody wanted a piece of her. But I mean, she was putting her hands on everybody, so you can imagine that they wasn't gonna let that sit and get away with it. And with the now switching guns here, now you got SmackDown, the Raw commentary. Besides J. Cole, each have their own run. SmackDown doing double duty on it. And now with that being said, I was talking about Rey Mysterio being 3-time United States champion. Before that happened, come back to NXT. Now I will show you my NXT results. And that seems like you guys liked my SummerSlam predictions better than my Raw prediction, but then my Raw results better than my SmackDown results, but then my SmackDown results was even to my SummerSlam results, including the video game that's between there. Of his last Raw prediction, that was pretty much even with the Raw results over Raw prediction, and Raw results was over the SummerSlam prediction results, and then my SmackDown really outweighed both of them. Uncle Sam just chilling here, huh? So that's let's see. I like Oxymo. So Oxymo letting Ellie know not to disrespect him. LA actually defeating Oxymo on him that North American Championship belt opportunity against Dominic Mysterio with our Women's Champion Rhea Ripley by his side. Not like our World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins can't, fall on his face and, be like, nothing happened, I'm still World Heavyweight Champion, so what's so funny? That'd be cool. Going on a roller coaster ride, see a picture, like, a truck with Ariana Grande on it just sitting there. And, she feels like Rey Mysterio had her back, gave her more respect than her own team members did. So you can't be mad at the way she feels. And Leslie really thought something about no one wants to wait for a women's championship against Rhea Ripley. We're gonna come out here like a pack of wolves on her. Same thing for Leslie. On Camilla as NXT champion. How about tag team? How about tag team trophy? The NXT tag team champions is on there as well. Picking up the victory. And Trent Williams really taking it to the last level for a singles action. Seems like here. Dominate and destruction, anybody and everything that moves. Talk about the Judgment Day on Raw. Let's talk about the domination now on NXT. That nobody's safe. And wherever you go isn't safe. Goes to an arena, you're a target. and Drew Gulak, making a form of an alliance in the tag team, but isn't getting past the NXT Tag Team Champions who won that victorious. And Roxanne went better than her to get respect and advice from Rey Mysterio. Talk about the coming in the group, ending the group, that if she doesn't feel like her group is supporting and respecting her, that she might, not want to be in Chase's group anymore. Bring it to the next level. Ali has earned it to the next level, but I still was going for Axel. Letting him know you're not going to disrespect me despite Ali winning the victorious North American Championship belt. And now Carmella, now we're going to have a Leslie singles action for an NXT Championship match, it looks like, after being shoved almost into a whole locker room and a whole cubby hole that was for someone else for the opportunity that has really taken the impact to the next level. And this would be my SmackDown results after SummerSlam. Jimmy explaining after he attacked Jay, including now we have Rollins and Reigns South now having winning that match with the American Nightmare, which was shocking in 6-man match. But now Shinsuke wants a World Heavyweight Championship match opportunity. And Damage Control is that officialized or I don't know how to exactly working. And this would be my SmackDown result. You can check out the rest of the SmackDown prediction. Follow, subscribe on Instagram and YouTube. And Jay is still getting the last of our Universal Champion Roman Reigns, including Jimmy showing for like to attack him. Rey Mysterio, 3-time United States champion, celebrating with the LWO attack Eskimo before the match started, but wasn't getting away. As Theory may attack Eskimo, wasn't getting away while 3-time United States champion Rey Mysterio, who celebrated with our family LWO. Including Jimmy not getting away with attacking Jay Norris, Roman Reigns getting in his face about it. Along with the Sheamus versus Edge singles action Impact Person the Lifetime match that we'll ever see. Because we haven't seen that. So that would be the rest of that. And then we had Carl Anderson on out of character. Obviously, with Karen Cross attacking both Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. And then AJ Styles beats him in a singles action to make up for it. And then they won a match, but in like a mixed tag team, I believe. It was against Scarlett, Mia Yim, and AJ Styles, and with Karen Cross. And, they won that mixed tag team match, but then AJ Styles and Mia Yim win the following up match to make up for it. And then Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, they get attacked. AJ Styles wins a singles action for him. But Carl Anderson being on out of character, it's like, okay, they got a tag team that could be happening if Karen Cross were to, grab another partner that just wants to dominate and come ruthless after blood and flesh, whatever the situation is, if he wants to find someone that wants to do that, lock up and come a tag team match, come a tag team situation. So he is on that character, and I'm like, I'm waiting for this tag team. I've seen the singles out, AJ Styles beat you. I've seen the mixed tag team that me and James got Scar's number. I've seen you attack both of them, and them wanting to get singles match to obviously get revenge on you. But the question is, why don't you bring in a partner for a tag team? But who would that partner be for Karen Cross is the question. So with that being said, that would wrap up the two podcasts over the last 2 weeks and the last week. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to watch, like, follow, and subscribe on both Instagram and YouTube. Queen Crazy K. Really enjoy you guys who already been watching and subscribing on YouTube. I appreciate that. I really do. And also, I appreciate you guys who've been liking and following on Instagram. Thank you for that as well. And continue to like and watch subscribe on Instagram and YouTube at Queen Crazy K. But before we head out, I wanted to do my Raw predictions for tomorrow night for you guys. Even though I usually do a short video for Raw prediction, I will say it in this. And then those of you who don't see it in this podcast can subscribe and like, and you'll see definitely my predictions on my Night Raw tomorrow as well. It'll be a video just Raw prediction. So I'm gonna do my Raw prediction now though. While we're at it, I predict that Seth freaking Rollins will remain World Heavyweight Champion against Shinsuke Nakamura, who apparently wants the championship match that they should do that, and that we'll watch Seth Rollins walk out World Heavyweight Champion against Shinsuke Nakamura, as far as he wanting that opportunity and that match to go. And if the Judgment Day shall get involved in this match, that you can imagine maybe the American Nightmare and Sami Zayn will make sure that Finn and Priest doesn't get involved, and that Mommy should be busy worried about her and Raquel for the women's championship belt match. That should happen and be an impact, and that Dominic may have an open North American Championship challenge before he heads over to NXT, or just busy helping Rhea with that, and maybe Kevin Owens could come and even up the odds if not. And I predict that now since LA Knight has showed up on both. Now, what's next for will LA Knight come on Monday Night Raw and have a match against The Miz to see who the megastar is this coming Raw instead of waiting till SmackDown for a singles action? And then also, with that being said, that covers up the big things. Also, we got Becky Lynch's tag team match. The question is, who is going to be Becky Lynch's tag team partner against Trish Stratus and Zoe Starks tomorrow on Monday Night Raw? I think either Lita or Natalya. Because Natalya said she would love to work with her to do that, and also Lita. Remember, Trish Stratus attacked her too. So, with that being said, I think that pretty much covers up everything. That is my Raw predictions for tomorrow night. You guys can watch, like, follow, and subscribe on both Instagram and YouTube. Thank you guys who are already doing it, and thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you even more for those of you who will watch, like, and follow, and subscribe on YouTube after, and so you can watch this and more podcasts like it, my rapping videos, entertainment, active videos, podcast hosts, interviews, and all that good stuff. Snip studio time, and all that good stuff. Also, then you can watch when I do those of you who don't see this podcast, when I do my Raw prediction for tomorrow. Now, I know I just did my Raw prediction on here, but I will have just a video of my Raw predictions for tomorrow for you guys as well. So, Queen Crazy K out. Peace.